8:07 right now, joined by the one and only, the writer and director, Michael Patrick King of Sex and the City 2. Michael, good morning.
Hey, Big J. In honor of Sex and the City, me being the writer and director, I'm going to rename you today. You're Mr. Big J.
I love it. I like being tied into to Mr. Big. What?
Yeah, well, he's a pretty good character, and it's taken years and years and years of Carrie Bradshaw trying to get her to marry him, and finally they're married. Exactly.
It finally happened. I was in L.A. years ago, driving down the street, and I'm pretty positive I saw Chris going outside to take out his garbage.
That is a very glamorous celebrity sighting.
Yes, that was one of my big sightings when I was in Los Angeles.
That is amazing. That's very glamorous. Thank you for sharing.
No problem. I think, obviously, speaking of glamour, people are so excited for Sex and the City 2, and I'm sure you're probably excited, too, because the show's kind of, or the history, the show and then the movie, it kind of seems like it might happen, it might not. Like the ladies are almost ready to be done. I'm sure you were probably stoked when everybody came back on board for Sex and the City 2.
It was first of all, the big radical evolution of this was to go from a television series to a movie. And when the fans of these four characters, Carrie, Miranda, Samantha, and Charlotte, showed up at the box office and threw down what I call love and Hollywood calls money, and it translated to such the first female blockbuster. The fact that we got to do then a sequel was really a testament to the energy and the love of the fans who love these characters and want to follow along with them in their lives. And then my job as the writer-director with the second movie is to just do something I've never done before, because as much as the characters are familiar, we like to give them a new situation so the audience is seeing something completely new.
What's your connection with Sex and the City? Like, how'd you first get involved with the show?
I started on the very first episode on television. I came in as a comedy writer, to help create the series. Mm-hmm. Did the series every single year. Then, was executive producer, hired the writers, directed, etc. And then when we went off the air, I was the one who said, okay, I think we should end now before we're even finished. I want to leave the party while it's still happening. And because we moved away quickly and the series kept growing over the years with the DVDs and the syndication, here we are again. So I've been with this for now almost 13 years.
Wow, that's awesome. And so this movie takes place in Abu Dhabi, right?
This movie takes place in New York City of Sex and the City. And because we're in an economic downturn, when I sat down to write it, I thought, what's my job? I'm not a banker. I can't go to Wall Street and balance your books. But I can do what they did in the 30s in the Hollywood era, and that is give a big, splashy, getaway Hollywood movie. So I looked around for, where's a current but exotic location, and I came up with Abu Dhabi in the Middle East, because I guess the movie's a lot about tradition and exploring tradition, but also the idea of sexually liberated Samantha Jones in the middle of the Middle East. As a writer, I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, you've got to go with that. What did the ladies think? They had to go overseas and shoot in Morocco. Did they?
Yeah, we shot in Morocco for 8 weeks. They're all great adventurers. It was odd because we all left everything behind, because when you're making a movie, you're really just this family unto yourselves. And even though we'd been a family for many, many years, we'd never really spent 8 weeks living and sleeping together. Not sleeping together, of course, you know what I mean. It is Sex and the City, but we're really too excited from doing sex all day to actually have sex at night. Yeah. But the reality is we had a great time, great adventure. We filmed on the dunes where they filmed Lawrence of Arabia in the middle of the Sahara Desert. I had 4 stars on camels, and that was for 5 days. If they're still talking to me, it's a miracle.
Yeah, they're definitely troopers over there. Can you give us any spoilers from the movie? Let us know what happened, or you want it all to be a surprise for the fans?
Well, there's a great big wedding up front, and the fun thing about the wedding is not only is it done like an MGM Buzzley Berkeley musical, but we have an amazing guest star, Liza Minnelli's in it. And not only does she act in the movie, but she also performs, and I have her performing Beyonce's Single Ladies, and it's like you've never seen it before.
That's awesome. I know a lot of, so the story with Carrie at this point, her and Mr. Big have been married for a few years.
The interesting thing to me is in most romantic comedies, which is what the first movie ended like, people get married and that's the end. And then I thought, well, what's interesting for Carrie Bradshaw, who's a writer and made her living as a single girl and pretty much known around the world as the ultimate single girl, how does she handle the word wife? And what happens after you say I do? And the counterpoint of how tradition affects this very untraditional couple. So for me, there's a lot in the movie that's relatable for men and women as a couple, plus a lot of laughs and a lot of style.
A lot of style. What was the budget for clothes on this film?
The budget and the clothes, there's this crazy rumor going around that it was $10 million. It's impossible to decide what the budget is on this because that would imply that we buy the clothes. The clothes are on loan from all the great designers around the world, and so it's this revolving door, hands across the design waters policy. So the clothes come in, they're not bought. So that's just another piece of the exciting gossip mill that is Sex and the City.
But easily millions of dollars, probably.
Oh, sure. If you were to purchase these things, it would be millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. But why would you leave your house to see less than that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're going to go to the theater, you're going to put down your money, you want to see something that's amazing. You want to see something that you can't see in your everyday life. But even within all this big budget, splendor, and glamour, there's still a very real, relatable story in the middle of all this, and that's what I'm most happy about.
That's awesome. What do you say to the people that get really upset? I mean, obviously most people, especially the fans, understand Sex and the City, and they get it and they get what it's about, but what do you say to the people that get really upset, that watch an episode and think that this is like an example of how America's going downhill and this is showing young ladies, how they shouldn't behave, and it's just a horrible example of people in America, like those people that just hate Sex and the City?
I think that those people that feel that Sex and the City is a horrible example of how people behave in America is probably people who haven't seen Sex and the City. Because what I love most about this series is we've taken the word sex, which up until us was sort of hidden in the shadows and dark and kind of seamy, and by imbuing it with laughter and love, it's become pink and fizzy like champagne. And the fact of the matter is it started out as Sex and the City, and now it's just about how these girls take care of each other as they move through life. And if I had a daughter, I would be very comfortable with her watching it. When you see them on all the syndication channels, it's really about just as girlfriends and about looking for love. And the real theme of Sex and the City is be true to yourself, and there's nothing dirty or seamy about that.
That is very true. Any chance, Michael, for a Sex and the City 3? Is that dependent on the box office? Is that not a possibility?
I don't know. The box office is not the issue. The issue is story, if you come up with a story. When I finished the first movie, I didn't hold back anything, and I have to say I'm happy that I didn't hold back on this one either. So we'll see what happens. We just, for this moment, go to the movie and enjoy it because we made it for you.
Excellent. And then what's up for you after, say there is no Sex and the City 3? What else are you working on, or what's going to be the next
I have another
adventure?
romantic comedy that I'm in the middle of finishing, plus I'm going to return to television and do some television deals with Warner Brothers because I like both the big and the small screen. I love the intimate feel of having a show come into your home every week, and I also love the opposite of that, which is making a big blockbuster that is meant to be seen on the big screen. So I'll be writing and directing and hopefully moving forward as well.
Excellent. Well, you're many women who are listening right now's hero, I'm sure.
Oh, well, you know what? They're my heroines for actually loving us enough to give us the opportunity to come back and have another romp on them.
Sex and the City 2, it opens next Thursday, May 27th. Michael Patrick King, writer and director. Hey, thank you so much for being on the show this morning, Michael, and congratulations on all the success.
Thank you, Mr. Big J.
Have a good morning, Michael. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.